All right, let's dive deep into the world of chess.
Yeah, let's do it.
We're taking excerpts from Chess for Dummies by James Eade.
Okay.
By the end of this deep dive, you'll have a better grasp of the strategy.
Right.
And, you might even be able to impress some of your friends
Yeah, absolutely.
with your chess knowledge.
It's funny how people think chess is this
Yeah.
really complicated game.
Right.
But once you understand the basic elements,
Yeah.
it's almost like a language.
Yeah.
You can start to see
Right.
how the pieces work together to
Yeah.
form these intricate sentences on the board.
So, okay,
Yeah.
let's break it down.
Okay.
When we talk about chess, what's the goal?
The ultimate objective in chess
Yeah.
is to checkmate the opponent's king.
Okay.
And a lot of people think it's about capturing all the pieces.
Right.
But it's not. It's about trapping the king
Okay.
in a position where it's under attack. And there's no legal move to save it.
So it's almost like a targeted assassination.
Exactly.
Right. So
It all takes place on
Yeah.
that classic 8x8 chessboard,
yeah.
Alternating light and dark squares.
It's pretty cool how they always start the same way, though.
Yeah, you're right.
It's like every game starts with the same story,
Yeah.
but then unfolds in a totally different way.
Yeah, and that starting position is not arbitrary.
Right.
There's logic to it.
Yeah.
A balance of power
Yeah.
to set up
Yeah.
the strategic battles.
So chess actually originated in India around 600 AD.
Yeah.
It was called Chaturanga.
That's right.
And it's pretty incredible how, it reflected the Indian armies
It did.
with pieces like the Raja and Mantri.
It's fascinating.
Yeah. And now it's evolved into this game we know today.
The modern game we play.
Yeah.
Take the queen, for instance.
Right.
She's the most powerful piece now. But originally her predecessor, the Mantri or vizier, was a much weaker piece. Only there to advise the king.
It makes you wonder if the queen's evolution reflects
Absolutely.
changing perceptions of women.
That's a really interesting point.
Yeah.
It could reflect broader social changes.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's get into the pieces.
Okay.
And how they move.
Yeah,
Like they all have these different
they do.
unique personalities and rules to follow.
Absolutely.
Let's start with the rooks.
Okay.
Those are the ones on the corners.
The rooks are all about control,
Okay.
moving in straight lines,
Yeah.
horizontally or vertically,
Okay.
across any number of unoccupied squares.
Okay.
It's almost like,
So as long as there's nothing in the way.
yeah, as long as there's nothing in the way,
Okay.
they can control those open lines of attack.
Okay.
It's almost like controlling those key supply routes
Okay.
in a military campaign.
Gotcha.
Then we have the bishop.
The bishop
It
is
just moves diagonally.
diagonally restricted to squares of its original color.
Okay.
So
it can never change color?
It can never change color.
Okay.
It's like a knight bound by a code of chivalry or something.
Gotcha. Okay.
So the bishop's strength
Yeah.
is its long-range diagonal reach.
Okay.
It can control those diagonals,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a threat,
Okay.
even from afar.
Right.
Like a skilled archer picking off targets
Okay.
from a distance.
Okay. Yeah. And then, of course, we have the queen.
The queen.
She combines the power of both the rook and the bishop.
Yes.
It's interesting how she evolved from being
She did.
kind of a minor piece to this dominant force.
Well, she can control a vast amount of the board,
Right.
and mastering her is crucial for
Okay.
any aspiring chess player.
Okay. And then we have the knight,
The knight.
with its unusual L-shaped movement.
The L-shaped movement, and it's the only one that can jump over pieces,
It is.
which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it can be tricky to grasp at first.
Yeah, I bet.
But this unpredictability makes it so valuable,
Right.
especially in closed positions
Okay.
where other pieces might be blocked.
So it's like
Yeah.
it can just appear in these unexpected places.
Yeah, almost like a stealthy ninja
Right.
disrupting the carefully laid plan.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And then the king
The king
is the most important piece.
Yeah,
But he can only move one square.
one square in any direction.
It seems so counterintuitive
It does.
that the most important piece
It does.
is most restricted.
Yeah, well, the game ends
Yeah.
when the king is checkmated.
Right.
So every move you make, you
Yeah.
have to keep in mind the safety of the king.
Okay.
Protecting him
Gotcha.
is the top priority.
Okay. And then finally we have
Yeah.
the pawns.
The pawns.
Those little guys in the front.
Those humble foot soldiers.
Yeah. But they're more than meets the eye.
They are.
I feel like.
Yeah, so they can only move forward.
Okay.
But their strength
Yeah.
lies in their potential for promotion.
Promotion.
Yeah. What does that mean?
So if a pawn reaches the opposite end of the board,
Okay.
it can transform into any other piece
Whoa.
except a king.
That's incredible.
Imagine a foot soldier becoming a powerful queen.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
It's like a Cinderella story.
It is. It's the ultimate underdog story.
So, okay. So
Yep.
we've covered the basics of the board
Right.
and how each piece moves.
Yes.
But obviously there's a lot more to chess
There is.
than just knowing how the pieces move.
Absolutely. It's about strategy,
Yeah.
thinking ahead.
Right.
You have to grasp the deeper elements,
Okay, like what?
like space, material, and development.
Okay, so let's start with space.
Okay.
It seems like controlling the center of the board is pretty important.
It is.
It's like prime real estate.
Yeah, like in a bustling city.
Yeah, exactly.
You want to control the center. Okay.
To give your pieces greater mobility and
Right.
influence over the board.
So you can kind of dictate.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like having a commanding view of the battlefield.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
And then we have material.
Material?
Each piece has a point value,
It does.
and that helps you evaluate trades.
Yes, and sacrifices.
Like, is it
Yeah,
worth
exactly.
giving up a certain piece for another?
Yeah, these calculations are constant in a
Right.
chess game.
Okay.
You're constantly thinking about
Yeah.
the value of your pieces.
Okay.
It's almost like a cost-benefit analysis,
Okay.
but with chess pieces instead of dollars and cents.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
So what was that last one?
Development.
Oh, yeah?
Development.
What was that?
This is about
Yeah.
getting your pieces out of their starting positions
Right.
and into active roles
Okay.
as quickly as possible.
Almost like mobilizing your troops.
Yeah, like deploying them efficiently
Okay.
to control key areas.
Gotcha. Okay.
So a well-developed force is more potent
Okay.
than one with its pieces stuck on the back rank.
So chess is as much about planning
Yeah.
as it is
Yeah,
moving the pieces around.
absolutely.
Now, what about tactics?
Tactics.
What are those?
Tactics are those short-term maneuvers
Okay.
designed to gain an immediate advantage.
Okay.
It's almost like ambushes or flanking attacks in a battle.
Oh, right. So it's like a specific action.
Exactly. Yeah, they're the clever tricks and traps
Okay.
that can turn the tide of a game.
So it's like using the tools
Yeah, precisely.
to execute your overall strategy.
Exactly.
Okay.
So, for instance, you might have a strategy
Mm-hmm.
to control the center.
Right.
Well, you could use tactics like forks and pins.
Forks and pins.
Forks and pins.
Okay. Tell me more about that.
So a fork
Yeah.
is when a single piece
Yeah.
attacks two or more of your opponent's pieces
Okay.
simultaneously. So they're forced to make a difficult choice.
It's like no matter what they do,
Yeah.
they're kind of stuck.
They're in trouble.
Okay. Which piece is best at forking?
The knight.
The knight.
Because it can jump over other pieces. It can
Uh-huh.
reach those unexpected squares
Okay.
and create those double attacks.
What about pins?
A pin
Yeah.
is a tactic where you immobilize
Yeah.
your opponent's piece
Okay.
by threatening a more valuable piece behind it.
So you're
It's
basically
like taking a hostage.
right. You're using one piece to control the other one.
Exactly.
Okay. Are there any other
Yeah.
tactical tricks?
Yeah, another one is a skewer.
A skewer.
A skewer.
Okay.
And this is where you force a valuable piece to move,
Okay.
leaving a less valuable piece behind it,
Okay.
vulnerable to capture.
Got it.
So it's like a chain reaction.
So one capture could lead to another.
Exactly. And skewers can be devastating,
Yeah.
especially if they target the king.
Oh, wow. So it seems like every move can have like a chain reaction
It can.
you might not even foresee.
That's right.
Okay. Now, what about sacrifices?
Sacrifices.
It seems counterintuitive to give up a piece.
It does,
I get
but
it.
sometimes giving up material
Yeah.
can lead to a positional advantage,
Okay.
a faster attack,
Yeah.
or even a forced checkmate.
Right.
It's like giving up a pawn to gain control of a key square,
Right.
or sacrificing a rook to open up a line of attack
Right.
on the enemy king.
So it's almost like that old saying,
Yeah.
you have to spend money to make money.
Exactly.
Okay.
But in chess, you're spending pieces
Right.
to achieve your strategic goals.
So what are some common types of
Shapes.
sacrifices?
One is called the gambit,
The gambit.
and this is where you sacrifice material early
Okay.
in the game
Right.
for a developmental lead.
Okay.
A classic example is the king's gambit,
The king's gambit.
where white sacrifices a pawn
Okay.
to gain control of the center
Right.
and speed up development.
So it's almost like
Yeah.
a sneak attack.
It is. It's like sending a small detachment
Right.
to disrupt the enemy's formation.
Okay. Are there any other gambits?
Yeah, there's the queen's gambit.
The queen's gambit. Okay.
This is where white offers a pawn
Okay.
to gain control of the center
Right.
and develop their pieces quickly.
Okay.
It's a more positional opening
Okay.
than the king's gambit,
Right.
but it can lead to equally exciting games.
Okay. So it's still about
It is.
Taking a risk
It is.
for some kind of advantage.
Exactly.
Okay, now what about sacrifices later in the game?
Yeah, later in the game.
Yeah.
One of the most famous is the bishop sacrifice.
Bishop sacrifice, okay.
This is where you target the opponent's king side,
Okay.
potentially leading to a quick checkmate.
So you're sacrificing...
You are?
To...
Yeah, it's like creating a weakness in their defenses.
Right.
So you can strike at the heart.
Okay, what about sacrificing the queen?
Queen sacrifices are rare.
Yeah, that seems crazy.
It does.
To give up your most powerful piece.
It does, but it can have a massive psychological impact.
Right.
It shows you're willing to go all in for the win.
It's like the ultimate gamble.
It is.
High risk, high reward.
High risk, high reward.
Okay.
A classic example is the Evergreen game.
The Evergreen game.
Between Adolf Anderson and Jean de Fresnay in 1852.
Okay.
Anderson sacrifices his queen in a dazzling combination, leading to a forced checkmate.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's amazing how one sacrifice can change the whole course of the game.
Absolutely. Chess is more than just moving pieces.
Right.
It's about understanding the psychology of the game and taking those calculated risks to achieve your goals.
So you have to be thinking.
You do.
Many moves ahead.
You do. Chess is about mental fortitude. And creative thinking, as much as it is technical skill, sometimes those most brilliant moves are the ones that defy conventional wisdom.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So there's a lot more to this game than meets the eye.
Absolutely. That's right. Yeah, it's like in those movies where there's a sudden plot twist.
Right.
You think it's going one way, and then, bam.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything changes.
The chess is not just about memorizing moves.
No.
It's also about...
Yeah, it's also about creativity and intuition.
Okay, but going back to the sacrifices.
Okay.
You mentioned the best counter is sometimes to just accept it.
Yeah.
But how do you know?
It's a good question.
If it's a genuine sacrifice or if it's a trap?
That's where your understanding of the game comes into play.
Okay.
You have to evaluate the position, calculate the consequences, and try to figure out what your opponent is thinking.
So you have to try to get in their head a little bit.
Exactly.
Okay.
Sometimes what looks like a brilliant sacrifice is actually a blunder.
A blunder.
Yeah. A mistake.
Oh, okay.
That you can exploit to your advantage.
So it's like a poker game.
Yeah, like a poker game.
Where you have to decide, do I call their bluff or do I fold?
Right, you're constantly trying to anticipate your opponent's moves and outmaneuver them.
So you said earlier, chess requires scientific discipline, but also artistic creativity.
It does.
Those seem like opposites.
Yes, it's a unique blend of logic and imagination.
Okay.
You need the mind of a scientist to calculate variations and develop a sound strategic plan. But you also need the creativity of an artist to come up with original ideas and anticipate your opponent's moves.
So you're constantly kind of...
You are switching back and forth.
You're using both sides of your brain.
Okay.
And the best chess players can seamlessly integrate those two.
It makes you wonder if playing chess can help you in other areas of your life.
Well, it's been shown to improve cognitive function, problem solving, and even creativity.
It's like a mental workout.
It is a mental workout for your brain.
Okay, so going back to those checkmating patterns.
Okay.
You described the back rank mate, that the king is trapped on its back rank.
Yes.
What are some other ways the king?
Well, one is the smothered mate.
Smothered mate.
Smothered mate.
What is that?
This occurs when the king is completely surrounded by its own pieces, leaving it no escape squares.
So it's like the king is suffocated by its own army.
It is. That's why it's called a smothered mate.
Oh, okay. What are some other mating patterns?
Another is the scholar's mate.
Scholar's mate. This is a quick checkmate that often catches beginners off guard. It relies on a coordinated attack involving the queen and bishop, targeting the opponent's weak f7 pawn.
So it's a reminder that you have to protect your king.
Absolutely, even in the early stages of the game.
Now let's talk about pawn formations.
Okay.
You mentioned the fianchetto.
Yes.
The dragon formation.
Right.
And the stone wall.
Yeah.
Are there any others?
Well, there are many pawn formations with their own strengths and weaknesses.
Okay.
One interesting one is the hedgehog. Hedgehog, yeah.
Okay.
It's a defensive structure
Okay.
where the pawns are arranged in a compact, almost prickly formation, making it difficult to penetrate.
So
the idea is to create a solid defensive base and patiently wait for the opponent to overextend. And then you can launch a counterattack.
So it's almost like you're waiting.
Yeah, like a coiled spring waiting for the right moment to unleash its energy.
So it's about timing.
It is, absolutely.
Okay, let's talk about those special moves.
Right.
Castling and en passant.
Okay.
You described castling as a way to protect the king and activate a rook.
Exactly.
And it's the only time you can move two pieces
in one move
at the same time.
It's a powerful move that can really change the dynamics. It's almost like a con.
Yeah, a swift repositioning of your forces to strengthen defenses or prepare for an attack.
You mentioned there's two types.
Two types, yeah.
Kingside and queenside.
Okay, how do you decide?
So kingside castling is usually considered safer because the king moves towards the corner where it's better protected. Queenside can be riskier because the king moves towards the center.
Right.
But it can be advantageous for launching attacks on the queen side.
So it's almost like choosing between a fortress and an outpost.
Right. And the choice really depends on the position and your overall plan.
Okay. And then en passant.
En passant.
This one is so unusual.
Yeah.
When does that actually happen?
En passant.
Yeah.
It's French for in passing. It's a special pawn capture that occurs immediately after an opponent's pawn moves 2 squares forward from its starting position.
Right.
So you can capture that pawn as if it had only moved 1 square forward. And the rule was introduced to prevent pawns from bypassing other pawns too easily.
So it's like a surprise attack.
It is a surprise attack from the side.
So even the pawns have...
They do.
These tactical possibilities.
That's what makes chess so captivating.
Yeah.
It's a game of endless possibilities.
Yeah, it really is. I've always wondered why chess players have their own language.
It's like a secret code.
Yeah, exactly.
But like any specialized field, it has its own jargon. And these terms allow players to communicate more efficiently. For instance, the word tempo.
Tempo
refers to the initiative in chess, the ability to control the pace of the game. Another one is Zugzwang. And this describes a situation where any move you make will worsen your position.
So you're basically forced to make a bad move.
Exactly.
I've definitely been there.
We've all been there.
Okay, now what about those terms like forking and pinning?
Yeah, those are good ones.
They sound like something you do in the kitchen.
They do, but in chess, they have very specific tactical meanings.
Okay, remind me.
So a fork is a simultaneous attack on 2 or more pieces. And a pin immobilizes a piece because it's blocking an attack on a more valuable piece.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Now, what about that algebraic notation you mentioned?
Algebraic notation.
It looks like a bunch of random letters and numbers.
It's a system for recording chess moves using letters and numbers to represent the squares.
Right.
So each square has a unique identifier.
Right.
Based on its file.
It's a file.
Which is the vertical column labeled with a letter. And its rank. Which is the horizontal row labeled with a number.
So instead of saying, move your knight to the king's bishop 3 square. You would just say...
knight to b3.
Oh,
Much more concise. And efficient.
And what about those symbols next to the moves?
Yeah, those are called annotations.
Annotations,
They provide additional information about the game. They might evaluate the quality of the move. Highlight tactical opportunities. Or explain strategic concepts.
So it's almost like a commentary track for the chess game.
Right. Annotations can help you understand the thought process behind the moves.
Okay, now what about chess tournaments?
Chess tournaments, they can be exciting. And nerve-wracking, especially for newcomers. But it's a chance to test your skills against other players and meet other chess enthusiasts. But remember, even at tournaments, focus on having fun and learning from the experience.
What are the different types?
The most common format is the Swiss system.
The system.
Where players are paired based on their results in previous rounds.
Okay.
So you play against people with similar skill levels.
Okay, and as you progress...
You earn a rating.
A rating?
Yeah.
What's that?
A numerical representation of your skill level.
So it's almost like a leveling system.
Yeah, like in a video game.
Yeah. Okay, what about those really prestigious ones?
Oh, yeah.
Like the World Chess Championship.
The World Chess Championship.
How does that work?
This is the pinnacle of competitive chess.
Okay.
It's a match format where two players face off in a series of games.
Okay.
The player with the most wins becomes world champion.
So it's like the Super Bowl of chess.
It is an intense battle of wits and strategy.
Okay, now let's talk about chess etiquette.
Chess etiquette.
You mentioned you should always congratulate your opponent.
Yeah, win or lose.
Okay. Are there any other unwritten rules?
Chess has a rich tradition of etiquette and sportsmanship.
Okay.
It's a gentleman's game.
Right.
Avoid distractions.
Okay.
Be respectful of your opponent's time. And don't make any noise.
Right.
Or sudden movements during the game.
It's like a code of conduct.
It is.
Okay, now what about computer chess?
Computer chess?
You mentioned that computers are pretty strong at this point.
They are.
How has that evolved over the years?
Computer chess has come a long way.
Yeah.
Advances in processing power and algorithms have enabled computers to analyze massive numbers of positions and make really accurate calculations.
Okay.
They can evaluate millions of moves per second.
Wow, so they're like...
They are.
Super brains.
Super brains, but it's important to remember.
Yeah.
Computer chess is different from human chess.
Okay.
Computers rely on brute force calculation, while humans rely on intuition, pattern recognition, and psychological factors.
So even though they're really good at calculating, they haven't quite solved the game.
They haven't. Chess is a very complex game.
Yeah.
Even the most powerful computers. Right. Can't calculate every possible variation.
Okay.
There's still room for human creativity.
Right, but computer chess has definitely had a big impact on the way
it has.
We study and play the game.
Absolutely.
How so?
So chess engines.
Chess engines?
Yeah.
What are those?
These are computer programs designed to play chess.
Okay.
Have become very valuable for analyzing positions, identifying weaknesses, and suggesting improvements.
So it's like having...
Yeah, it's like having a chess coach in your pocket.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, what about online chess platforms?
Online chess has become hugely popular. It created this global community where players from all over the world can connect and compete.
So it's like a virtual chess club.
Exactly.
Okay.
And they're not just for playing games.
Yeah.
They're also a valuable resource for learning. A lot of them offer interactive lessons, video tutorials, and game analysis tools.
So technology has really changed the way people are playing chess.
It really has.
But let's not forget about the human element. So what advice would you give to someone just starting out?
I would say focus on the fundamentals.
Okay.
Don't be afraid to make mistakes. And most importantly, have fun.
Right.
It's a journey of discovery.
Okay.
The more you play, the more you'll learn.
Right.
It's not about winning every game.
Yeah.
It's about enjoying the process.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground.
We have.
In this deep dive.
We have.
Into Chess for Dummies.
We have.
The history, the rules,
the strategy,
tactics, even computers.
And we've only scratched the surface.
Wow.
There's so much more to learn and discover.
So what are some of the most famous chess games?
Oh, there are so many to choose from.
Yeah.
But a few stand out for their historical significance and their sheer beauty.
Okay, what are some of those?
One is the Immortal Game.
The Immortal Game.
The Immortal Game.
What's that one?
This was played between Adolf Anderssen and Lionel Kieseritzky in 1851.
Okay.
And this game exemplifies the Romantic era of chess.
Romantic era.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where players emphasized bold attacks and daring sacrifices.
Okay.
Anderson, who was playing white, launched these brilliant attacks that led to a stunning checkmate.
Okay.
And it's been studied and admired for over a century.
So what made it so immortal?
Well, it was a real chess symphony of aggression and beauty.
Are there any other games from that era?
Yeah, there's the Evergreen Game.
The Evergreen Game.
Between Adolf Anderssen and Jean Dufresne in 1852. Okay. And again, Anderson was playing white.
Okay.
he sacrifices his queen.
He does it again.
He does it again.
Wow.
In this spectacular combination, leading to a forced checkmate.
Wow.
It's a game that's as beautiful as it is instructive.
So it seems like he was really good at sacrifice.
He was a master of sacrificing for strategic goals.
Okay. Are there any other famous games?
Yeah, a notable one is the game between Donald Byrne and a young Bobby Fischer.
Bobby Fischer.
In 1956.
Okay.
This one's often called the game of the century.
The game of the century, okay.
Fischer was only 13 at the time. 13 years old.
Wow.
And he played a stunning game.
Okay.
Including a brilliant queen sacrifice.
Wow.
Leading to a checkmate.
It's incredible to think that a 13-year-old could play with that much mastery.
Yeah.
Okay, are there any other games that showcase that kind of brilliance?
Yeah. The game between Jose Raul Capablanca and a group of strong masters in 1918. This was a remarkable display of strategic genius. Capablanca played blindfolded against multiple opponents.
Wow.
Simultaneously.
And he still won.
That is next level chess mastery.
Yeah, exactly.
These games serve as inspiration for chess players of all levels.
It's amazing how they captured these moments in chess history.
Yeah.
These clashes of styles and personalities.
Absolutely. And it's inspiring to think that even today, new games are being played. That'll be studied for generations to come.
It's a living, breathing game.
It is.
Okay, but let's go back to the pieces we discussed. How the queen's transformation might reflect changing perceptions of women.
Right.
Have any other pieces?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Gone through similar transformation. Well, the queen's evolution is perhaps the most dramatic.
Right.
But the other pieces have also undergone some changes. For instance, the knight, with its unusual movement, was often associated with chivalry and knightly virtues.
It makes sense, given its role in medieval society.
Yeah, it was a symbol of courage, loyalty, and military prowess.
But then as warfare evolved and gunpowder came around.
Right, the knight became less dominant, and the symbolic meaning shifted.
Okay.
So it became associated with cunning strategy and surprise attacks.
So even though the movement stayed the same, its cultural significance
exactly.
changed.
Absolutely. And this highlights how chess, despite having fixed rules, is also a cultural artifact reflecting values and beliefs of the times in which it was played.
So it's a window into history and culture.
It is.
Now, you mentioned earlier that different cultures have developed different variations of chess.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about some of those?
Oh, there are so many.
Yeah.
But one fascinating one is shogi.
Shogi.
A Japanese form of chess, believed to have originated in the 16th century. It shares some similarities with Western chess, but it has its own unique rules and pieces.
Okay, so what are some of the key differences?
One major difference is you can drop captured pieces.
What?
Yeah.
Back onto the board.
Yeah, as your own.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So you can basically bring pieces back to life.
You can, and it adds a whole new layer of strategy.
So it's even more dynamic than Western chess.
It is, and it's thought that this might reflect a more cyclical view of warfare, perhaps influenced by Buddhist philosophy.
Wow, so even the rules of the game can reflect different cultural ideas.
Absolutely.
Okay, what about other variations?
Another one is xiangqi.
Xiangqi.
Also known as Chinese chess.
Okay.
It's played on a board with a river.
Okay.
Dividing the two sides. And the pieces have different movement patterns.
Okay.
For instance, the cannon can only capture by jumping over another piece.
So it's more about...
Yeah, it's a game that emphasizes long-range attacks and strategic maneuvering.
And what about the river?
Well, the river adds a geographical element, perhaps reflecting the importance of rivers in Chinese history and culture.
It's incredible how all these chess variations offer these different perspectives on the game.
Yeah, they're all telling different stories.
Yeah.
But using the same language of chess.
Right, okay. Well, this has been a really enriching experience.
It has.
This deep dive into Chess for Dummies.
Yeah.
I've learned so much.
Me too.
More than just the rules.
Right.
I've learned about the history.
The cultural significance.
The strategies.
Tactics.
Even the philosophical implications.
And I hope it sparked...
It has.
Your curiosity to explore chess further.
It has.
It's a game that can provide endless hours of enjoyment and challenge and intellectual stimulation.
It can be enjoyed by anyone of any age or skill level.
Yeah.
And it's a great way to exercise your mind and connect with others who share a passion for the game.
Chess is more than just a game. It's a journey of discovery.
Right.
A reflection of human ingenuity and a testament to the power of strategic thinking.
I love that. Well, this has been incredible.
It has.
So to all of you listening, I encourage you to embrace the challenge of chess.
Yeah.
Explore its endless possibilities and discover the joy of this fascinating game.
Absolutely.
Until next time.
Yeah.
Keep those minds sharp.
Keep them sharp.
And may your games be filled with brilliant moves.
Brilliant moves.
Clever tactics.
Clever tactics.
And strategic triumphs.
Strategic triumphs. Yeah, they're like frozen in time.
Yeah, it's like you can look back and see how people were thinking back then.
Exactly.
Okay, so... You know, we've talked about, the history of chess.
Yeah.
The rules.
Yeah.
The strategy. The tactics. The cultural significance.
Yeah.
But beyond that, what's the big takeaway?
Well, I think the big takeaway is that chess is more than just a game.
Right.
It's a reflection of human creativity and ingenuity. It's a game that challenges us to think strategically, to plan ahead, to anticipate our opponent's moves.
And it's a game that...
It's a game that can be enjoyed by people of all ages and backgrounds.
So if someone's listening to this and they haven't really played chess before, what would you say to them?
I'd say give it a try. Yeah. You might be surprised at how much you enjoy it.
Yeah, and maybe we'll see you in a future tournament.
Maybe at the World Chess Championship.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, this has been great.
It has.
This deep dive into Chess for Dummies.
It's been a pleasure.
So until next time.
Yes.
Keep those minds sharp.
Keep them sharp.
And may your games. Be filled with brilliant moves.
Brilliant moves.
Clever tactics.
Clever tactics.
And strategic triumphs.
Strategic triumphs.